I think you feel really confident that it was divinely ordered. Maybe all.
Long before the royal palace gates opened to Meghan, another man shared her world and witnessed everything. Those buried stories from a decade of silence are now resurfacing to challenge the entire Sussex legacy. Trevor Engelson, Meghan's first husband, is reportedly sitting on a mountain of explosive details about Archie and Lilibet's true biological roots that publishers are desperate to acquire. What does he actually know? And what would it mean for the Sussex children if he ever decides to talk? Trevor Engelson knows things that the rest of the world can only guess about. He spent 10 years of his life with Meghan Markle long before she ever set foot in a royal palace. 4 years, people have wondered what secrets he might be holding on to regarding their time together in Los Angeles. Some experts believe he has medical details or personal records that could change how the world sees Meghan's history forever. The rumors about a potential book deal have been circling for a long time. Publishers are reportedly ready to pay millions for just a glimpse into their private marriage and the real reason it ended so abruptly. But the most shocking part of this story isn't just about the past because it reaches directly into the future of the British throne. Trevor and Meghan started dating back in 2004. Their relationship was serious enough that they eventually tied the knot in August 2011. It was a beach wedding in Jamaica that looked like a dream come true. By all accounts, it was a real marriage between two people who had built a life together across the entertainment corridors of Los Angeles. Trevor was already an established film producer at that point. Meghan was still climbing the ladder that would lead her to the show Suits. Their marriage lasted 2 years before Meghan filed for divorce in 2013. She cited irreconcilable differences, but the details of that split have become legendary in Hollywood circles. What made the split so jarring to those close to the couple was how sudden it appeared to be. Sources who spoke to media outlets at the time described the breakup as calculated. There was almost no warning for Trevor. The story that spread through Hollywood was the one about the wedding rings. People claimed that Meghan returned her rings to Trevor via FedEx. This painted a picture of a woman who could close a chapter of her life with startling efficiency. Trevor never confirmed or denied the story publicly. That silence has only added weight to the rumors over the years. This silence is the core of the entire situation. For over a decade, Trevor Engelson has said almost nothing about his marriage to Meghan. He moved on with his life. He married a nutritionist named Tracy Kurland in 2019. He built a new family and a successful career. But the entertainment industry has never stopped thinking about what he might say if he ever decided to open up. Royal authors have claimed that Trevor has been offered massive deals to write a book. Some say the figures are in the millions. These publishers believe that his version of Meghan is the only one the public hasn't seen yet. There is a specific reason why this matters so much right now. Critics of the Duchess often point to a pattern in her past relationships. They argue that people in her life tend to disappear the moment they stop being useful for her career. Trevor was there during her most formative years. He saw her transformation from a struggling actress into a television star. If he were to reveal medical records or personal details from that time, it could challenge the narrative she has built. Some insiders suggest that Trevor has information about her family history and her personal health during their marriage. This is not just about hurt feelings from an old divorce. It is about the legal and social standing of the Sussex family. Trevor was married to Meghan during a time when she was reportedly making big decisions about her future. If there is documentation that contradicts her current public story, the fallout would be massive. This is especially true when it comes to the legalities of the royal family. Trevor is not bound by any palace non-disclosure agreements. He is a private American citizen who can say whatever he wants. This makes him a loose thread that the royal family cannot control. Harry has spent years building a story about his marriage. He has presented Meghan as a victim of the British press and a woman who was misunderstood by his family. But if Trevor presents a different version of who she was before the fame, that foundation starts to crack. Sources say Harry is deeply unsettled by the idea of Trevor talking. It is a part of Meghan's life that Harry was not a part of. He has to trust her version of events. But Trevor has the lived experience and the documents to prove what really happened. The professional dimension of Trevor's life also adds to the tension. He is not a man who needs money. He is a successful producer with hits like the show Snowfall. He does not need to sell a story to pay his bills. This makes his silence even more powerful. If he chooses to speak, it won't be for a quick paycheck. It will be because he feels the truth needs to be told. This is the ultimate nightmare for a public relations team. You cannot buy the silence of a man who is already wealthy and successful. Many observers are waiting to see if the pressure finally breaks him. Every time Meghan launches a new project, Trevor's name comes back into the news. People want to know if he is watching. They want to know if he feels a sense of vindication as she faces public criticism. The mystery of the Trevor Engelson archives continues to grow. As long as he stays quiet, the suspense builds, but if he ever decides to open that vault, the impact will be felt from California all the way to London. The question of what Trevor knows is big, but there is a much more serious controversy regarding the children and their physical appearance that has people talking even louder. For several years, there has been an undercurrent of gossip regarding the physical appearance of Archie and Lilibet. Some critics online have gone as far as to say that Archie does not look like Prince Harry. They point to hair color and facial features as reasons to question the lineage. While this might seem like standard internet trolling, it has fueled a much larger discussion about royal legitimacy. In the world of the British monarchy, biological parentage is not just a family matter. It is a matter of constitutional law and the line of succession. The British throne is governed by very specific rules. The Bill of Rights from 1689 and the Act of Settlement from 1701 are the foundation. These laws state that the crown must pass to the heirs of the body. This phrase is not just a figure of speech. It means that a child must be the biological offspring of the royal parents. They must also be born within a recognized legal marriage. If a child were found to be born via a surrogate or through other means, they would legally have no right to the throne. This is why the rumors about the children's appearance have become so toxic. These questions have placed a spotlight on the birth of both children. When Archie was born, the traditional royal birth announcement was handled differently than usual. There was a lack of a formal doctor's signature on the easel outside Buckingham Palace. This broke a long-standing tradition. For many skeptics, this was the first red flag. They began to wonder why the couple was being so secretive about the medical details. This brings us back to the idea of medical exposure. If there were any records that suggested a different birth story, the constitutional crisis would be unprecedented. The House of Commons library makes the rules very clear. A member of the royal family can only be removed from the line of succession through an act of parliament. This is a massive legal hurdle. It is not something the king can decide on his own. It would require a full investigation and the agreement of several different governments across the Commonwealth. We saw how serious this was in 2026 when Parliament discussed the status of Prince Andrew. If the legitimacy of Archie or Lilibet were ever formally challenged, it would be the biggest legal battle in the history of the monarchy. Harry is currently 5th in line to the throne. Archie is 6th and Lilibet is 7th. These positions were confirmed when King Charles took the throne in 2022. On the surface, their titles as prince and princess seem secure. But the rumors do not go away. People compare photos of Harry as a child to photos of Archie. They look for similarities and they look for differences. Some claim they see no resemblance at all. This kind of public scrutiny is incredibly hard on a family. It also creates a sense of instability for the crown. The phrase born of the body is the legal wall that everything hits. In the past, royal births were public events. There were witnesses in the room to ensure that the baby was indeed the biological child of the queen or princess. This was done to prevent any questions of legitimacy. Modern times have allowed for more privacy, but that privacy has opened the door for doubt. Harry and Meghan's insistence on total secrecy has unintentionally fueled the very rumors they hate. By keeping the doctors and the details hidden, they have allowed the public to fill in the blanks with their own theories. There is also the matter of the children's styling. Harry reportedly wants his children to keep their HRH titles. He wants them to have the choice to be working royals when they grow up. But the palace has been hesitant. The relationship between the Sussexes and the rest of the family is at an all-time low. Insiders say that the questions about the line of succession are a major point of tension. The royal family values the integrity of the bloodline above almost everything else. Any shadow of a doubt is seen as a threat to the entire institution. Legal experts have noted that any challenge would require high-level evidence. You cannot remove a prince from the line of succession based on a photo from the internet. It would require a formal demand for DNA evidence or the release of medical records. This is where the fear of an exposure comes in. If a disgruntled former employee or an ex-husband were to provide documents, the legal process would have to start. It would be a messy and public disaster. The world would be watching every single detail of the investigation. Currently, the law is on the side of the children. They are recognized by the state and by the church. Their names are on the official website. But the history of the British monarchy is full of stories about disputed heirs. The crown has been fought over for centuries. Even in the modern era, the rules must be followed to the letter. If there is even a 1% chance that the rules were broken, the critics will not stop. They see it as their duty to protect the crown from anyone who does not belong there. Harry and Meghan have tried to ignore the noise. They focus on their life in California and their various business ventures. But the questions of legitimacy follow them everywhere. It is a shadow that they cannot seem to shake. Every time a new photo is released, the debate starts all over again. People look for the Windsor features or the Spencer eyes. They want proof that the children are who the couple says they are. Without that proof, the rumors will continue to grow until they reach a breaking point. While the succession debate rages on, Meghan has been trying to establish herself as a lifestyle mogul. This journey began with the launch of a brand called American Riviera Orchard. It was supposed to be her version of Goop. She started by sending out jars of jam to her celebrity friends. It seemed like a clever marketing move, but the business world is much harder to navigate than the world of acting. Almost immediately, the brand ran into serious legal trouble. The trademark office rejected her application. They said the name was too geographic and could not be owned by one person. This was a major blow to her plans. You cannot build a global empire if you do not own the name. But the problems did not stop there. A company called Harry and David also stepped in. They argued that her brand name was too similar to their own trademarked products. This led to a long and expensive legal delay. Meghan's team eventually decided to pivot. They rebranded the entire operation under the name as Ever. This was supposed to be a fresh start. But even the new name came with its own set of controversies. A small town in Spain came forward with a shocking claim. They said the logo for As Ever was a direct copy of their town's coat of arms. The logo featured a palm tree and two birds. The town had been using that symbol since the year 1370. The mayor of the town was very open about the situation. She said it was a clear case of plagiarism. However, the town did not have the money to fight a legal battle against a duchess. They had to sit by and watch as their historic symbol was used to sell lifestyle products. These business failures have created a narrative of chaos. It seems that every time Meghan tries to move forward, she hits a wall. Many experts believe this is due to a lack of professional stability. The turnover rate for her staff is incredibly high. Since leaving the royal family, the Sussexes have gone through at least 11 public relations experts. People join the team with high hopes and then they leave within months. This kind of churn makes it impossible to build a long-term strategy. It also suggests that the working environment is very difficult. One of the most notable exits was a high-level communications officer who lasted only 9 months. When you have a new person running your press every few months, the message gets lost. This is why the brands keep failing. There is no consistent voice. There is no one who can tell the Duchess no when an idea is bad. The result is a series of soft launches that never turn into real businesses. The public is starting to lose interest in the constant rebrands. The financial pressure is also mounting. Living in Montecito is not cheap. Maintaining a security team and a private jet lifestyle costs millions every year. Without a steady stream of income from a successful brand, the couple has to rely on one-off deals. They had the Netflix deal and the Spotify deal, but those were based on their royal status. Now that the novelty has worn off, they have to prove they can create something of value. So far, the market has not been kind to their efforts. Insiders say that the stress of the business failures is taking a toll on the marriage. Harry was not raised to be a businessman. He was raised to be a prince. He is used to having a system that works for him. In California, he is just another celebrity trying to sell a product. The competition is fierce. There are thousands of people with more experience and better connections in the business world. The Sussexes are finding out that a royal title does not guarantee success in the private sector. It might even be a hindrance. The staff turnover is perhaps the most telling part of the story. In the corporate world, if 10 senior executives leave a company in 3 years, the CEO is usually fired. But Meghan is the boss. She cannot be fired from her own brand. This means the cycle of hiring and quitting will likely continue. Former employees have whispered about the long hours and the intense demands. They describe an atmosphere where nothing is ever good enough. This leads to burnout and a lack of loyalty. Without a loyal team, you cannot win the war of public opinion. There is also the issue of brand identity. People are not sure what Meghan is trying to sell. Is she a humanitarian? Is she a cooking show host? Is she a political activist? By trying to be everything at once, she has become hard to define. Consumers like brands that have a clear purpose. When the message changes every 6 months, people stop paying attention. The controversy over the Spanish logo only added to the confusion. It made the brand look lazy and unoriginal. All of these threads are connected. The legal battles over succession, the rumors from the ex-husband, and the failing businesses create a picture of a life in crisis. The Sussexes are fighting on too many fronts. They are trying to protect their titles while also trying to be Hollywood stars. They are trying to be private citizens while also constantly seeking the spotlight. It is a contradiction that is starting to tear at the seams of their public image. The world is watching to see if they can turn it around or if the collapse is inevitable. While the business world is proving to be a struggle, there is a single photograph from Meghan's childhood that many believe explains her entire motive for joining the royal family. In 1996, a 15-year-old girl sat on a metal fence outside Buckingham Palace. She was a tourist from Los Angeles visiting London with her best friend. That girl was Meghan Markle. The photo is simple and innocent on its own. Millions of people have taken that exact same picture. But for Meghan, that photo has become a piece of evidence. It is used by her critics to argue that she was never an outsider. They claim she was a girl who was obsessed with the royal family from a very young age. Meghan told Oprah Winfrey that she knew very little about the royals before she met Harry. She said she did not even know who he was. But her childhood friend Nanaki Pretty tells a different story. Nanaki was the girl in that photo. She has said that Meghan was always fascinated by the royal family. She claimed that Meghan wanted to be Princess Diana version 2.0. This contradiction is at the heart of the trust issue. If she was a fan who researched the family, then her story about being a naive outsider is a fabrication. The 1996 photo is powerful because it shows a clear arc. It is the starting point of a 20-year journey. For many, it proves that Meghan had a plan. They see a woman who used her ambition to move from a tourist fence to the royal balcony. This narrative of the long game is what makes her so polarizing. Her supporters see it as a fairy tale. Her critics see it as a cold and calculated climb to the top. They believe she targeted Harry because he was the most vulnerable member of the family. This brings us back to the current state of affairs. Harry has lost contact with many of his old friends. He has been cut off from his brother and his father. He is living in a foreign country with no family of his own nearby. Many people believe he has been isolated by Meghan. They see the same pattern that Trevor Engelson experienced. Once a person has served their purpose, they are moved to the background. If this is true, then Harry is in a very dangerous position. He has given up everything for a woman who might have been planning this since she was 15. The stakes could not be higher. If Trevor Engelson ever does speak, he might confirm these theories. He might talk about her early ambitions and her interest in the UK. He might reveal that she was looking for a way onto the global stage long before she met the prince. This would destroy the romantic image of their meeting. It would make it look like a business transaction. And for the British public, that is an unforgivable sin. They want their royals to be motivated by duty and love, not by a desire for fame. As of 2026, the situation remains unresolved. The Sussexes are still in California. The children are still in the line of succession. The brands are still struggling to find their footing. But the pressure is not going away. The legal questions about the heirs of the body will continue to be asked. The requests for medical transparency will continue to be made. And the shadow of Trevor Engelson will continue to hang over every move Meghan makes. He is the one person who can verify the past, and that makes him the most powerful man in this story. The 1996 photo reminds us that the past is always present. You cannot run away from your history no matter how many times you rebrand. Meghan is trying to build a new life, but the old one keeps calling her back. Whether it is a childhood friend with a photo or an ex-husband with a secret, the truth has a way of coming out. The royal family has survived for 1,000 years by being careful about who they let in. They are now dealing with the consequences of letting in someone who may have had her own agenda from the very beginning. Harry's role in all of this is the most tragic. He seems caught between two worlds. He wants to support his wife, but he is also a product of the institution she is fighting. He has lost his connection to his roots and his heritage. If the legitimacy of his children is ever legally challenged, he will have to choose between his family and the law. It is a position no father wants to be in. The uncertainty is a heavy burden to carry. In the end, the story of the Sussexes is a story about the power of information. Who has it? Who is hiding it? And who is willing to sell it? Trevor Engelson holds the keys to a door that Meghan wants to keep locked. Parliament holds the keys to the throne, and the public holds the power of opinion. As these three forces collide, the truth will eventually be the only thing left standing. We are watching the middle of a history book being written in real time. The world will continue to watch Archie and Lilibet as they grow. People will look for the truth in their faces and in the legal documents of the state. The mystery of the Duchess of Sussex is far from over. It is a drama that spans decades and continents. And at the center of it all is a silent producer in Los Angeles who knows exactly how the story began.